Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare. प्रेम से बोलो। Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare. प्रेम से बोलो। जय हरे कृष्णा, हरे कृष्णा, कृष्णा कृष्णा, हरे हरे, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Krishna, oh Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for joining this morning our Srimad Bhagavatam Sangha, where we all associate and learn from each other and attend to japa together. Thank you so much. Today, we're talking about King Anga, who is from the same lineage as Dhruv Maharaj, a few generations after Dhruv Maharaj. Now we're going to be talking about what happened at this junction in the dynasty. So Vidur is getting the pastimes from sage Maitreya, and Maitreya will explain to him what happened. So Vidur requested Maitreya, "My dear Brahman, you are well conversant with all subjects, both past and future. Therefore, I wish to hear from you all the activities of King Vaina. I am your faithful devotee, so please explain this." Now, King Vaina, we're talking about, is the son of King Anga. But it starts like this, how it developed. So we start with King Ang. Sri Maitreya replied, "My dear Vidur, once the great King Anga arranged to perform the great sacrifice known as Ashwamedh. It's the horse sacrifice. All the expert Brahmins present knew how to invite the demigods, but in spite of their efforts, no demigods participated or appeared in that sacrifice." See, that doesn't normally happen when the Brahmins, who are very well versed in how to chant the mantras properly at that time, it wasn't, they didn't make mistakes, but still the demigods didn't take the offering. The priests engaged in the sacrifice and informed King Anga, "O king, we are properly offering the clarified butter in the sacrifice, but despite all our efforts, the demigods do not accept it." So as their duty, they had to notify the king that we're having problems. So let's do a quick prayer first of all. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Mukham Kroti Vachalam Pangum Langyate Garim Yat Kirpata Mahamandeshi Gurum Din Taranam Paramananda Madhav Shitanesharam Hari Om Tassat Narayan Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narotamam Devim Sasvit Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiriyat Nasta Priyesh Abhatareshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Nishtaki. O King, we know that the paraphernalia to perform the sacrifice is well collected by you with great faith and care, and is not polluted. Our chanting of the Vedic hymns is also not deficient in any way, for all the Brahmins and priests present here are expert and executing the performance properly. It is a practice of Brahmins conversant with the science to pronounce the Vedic mantra in the right accent. The combination of the mantra and the Sanskrit word must be chanted with the right pronunciation. Otherwise, it will not be successful. So in this age, Prabhupada explains that although that is the fact, in this age, the Brahmins are neither well-versed in the Sanskrit language, nor very pure in practical life. But by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, one can attain the highest benefit of sacrificial performance. Says, even if the Hare Krishna mantra is not chanted properly, it still has so much potency that the chanter gains the effect. Well, we have different nations, different people with different languages. They chant according to their own style and accent, and yet it's mentioned that they will still get the benefit. Dear King, we don't find any reason that the demigods should feel insulted or neglected in any way. But still the demigods who are witnesses for the sacrifice do not accept their shares. We don't know why this is so. So they're bewildered by what's going on. Maitreya explained that King Anga, after hearing the statements of the priests, was greatly aggrieved. At that time, actually, the background to this, that he wants a son, he wants an heir to the throne, and now he's finding that even the yajna is not working, so he's a little bit lost at what's going on. They're desperate for a son. As you know, many dynasties, they always need a son to take over from the father and take over the throne, take over the kingdom, look after the citizens. But this was not happening. So the king is naturally worried what will happen, because it's very, very important that the citizens are well maintained. At that time, he took permission from the priest to break his silence and inquired from all priests who were present in the sacrificial arena. So the king is very smart. He knew that the priests know a bit more than they are letting on, or telling me. So he wants to know, okay, what is the real reason? Now you tell me. So Maitri explained that King Anga, after hearing the statements of the priests, was greatly grieved, and at that time he took permission from the priest to break his silence and inquired from the priests who were present in the sacrificial arena. So King Anga addressed the priestly order. My dear priests, kindly tell me what offense I have committed. Although invited, the demigods are neither taking part in the sacrifice nor accepting their shares. The head priest said, O king, in this life we do not find any sinful activity, even within your mind. So you are not in the least offensive. So in the other yugas, even if you thought of something bad in your mind, you would get a reaction. In the Kali Yuga, thinking something bad is not, our mind is disturbed anyway, thinks about all sorts of nonsense. If we started getting reactions for what goes through our, this dangerous mind, I don't think, we would have any chance whatsoever. So thinking, we get away with thinking, but obviously not going to get away with doing. But we can see that in your previous life, you perform sinful activities due to which, in spite of your having all qualifications, you have no son. So he had some previous reactions that were affecting him having a child son. The purpose of marrying is to beget a son, because the son is necessary to deliver his father and forefathers from any hellish condition of life in which they may be. Chanakya Pandit therefore says, Putra hinam graham shunyam. Without a son, married life is simply abominable. So this is the words of Chanakya Pandit. King Anga was a very pious king in his life, but because of his previous sinful activity, he could not get a son. It is concluded, therefore, that if a person does not get a son, it is due to his past sinful life. So according to this information, this is the case. O king, we wish all good fortune for you. You have no son, but if you pray at once to the Supreme Lord and ask for a son, and if you execute the sacrifice for that purpose, the enjoyer of the sacrifice, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, will fulfill your desire. And in fact, coincidentally, a few days ago, it was Putra the Ekadashi. Now, Putra the Ekadashi, if you follow the Ekadashi properly, you fast for 24 hours and you stay up all night as prescribed. And people who don't have a son, there's a good opportunity to have a son or even a child if you follow those instructions. When Hari, the supreme enjoyer of all sacrifices, is invited to fulfill your desire for a son, all the demigods will come with him and take their shares in the sacrifice. So they recommended that you call Krishna himself, you call the Supreme Personality. If he comes, then everybody else will have to come. The performer of the sacrifices, under the karma activities, achieves the fulfillment of the desire for which he worships the Lord. So this was a karma exercise, as mentioned. Thus, for the sake of a son for King Anga, they decided to offer oblations to Lord Vishnu, who is situated in the hearts of all living entities. In the sacrificial fire, if the oblations are offered into the flames, then Lord Vishnu is situated there in the form of the flames. Therefore, Lord Vishnu is known as Shipivista. As soon as the oblation was offered in the fire, a person appeared from the fire altar wearing a golden garland and a white dress. He was carrying a golden pot filled with rice boiled in milk. The king was very liberal, and after taking permission from the priests, he took the preparation in his joined palms, and after smelling it, he offered a portion to his wife. So he's very liberal that he was quite laid back about these things. He got the kheer, and he, without hesitation, without thinking twice, he went to his wife and offered her this prasad. The wife of the king, Sunita, her name was Sunita, was not fit to accept this benediction. Yet the king was so liberal that without hesitation, he offered to his wife the boiled rice in milk prasad, received from the Yajna Purush. Of course, everything is designed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as will be explained in later verses. This incident was not very favorable for the king. Since the king was very liberal, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in order to increase his detachment from this material world. So everything has a reason. It might seem on the outward, it might seem that, oh, what's going on here? Why is this happening? But there's always an underlying reason why something happening. This is how we should see that. So whatever is happening in your life, in the end, Krishna is the controller. He's the one who sanctions it, and there will be some positive will come out of that. King was increasing detachment from this material world, willed that a cruel son be born of the queen, so that the king would have to leave home. As stated above, Lord Vishnu fulfills the desires of the karmis as they desire, but the Lord fulfills the desire of a devotee in different way, so that the devotee may gradually come to him. So, in other words, a devotee, if he didn't desire to come near to Krishna, then he wouldn't be a devotee, right? So a devotee is a subconscious desire is to reach the Lord, but because he is so involved in his family life and wealth, etc., that he can't see any way out, or he doesn't have the strength, mental strength himself, spiritual strength himself, to break free of the shackles. So Krishna sometimes arranges such a arrangement that we automatically become freed from those shackles of family life and the Maya that comes with it, the illusion. Okay, so this is confirmed in the Bhagavad-Gita, Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam Yena Mam Upyantite. The Lord gives the devotee the opportunity to make progress further and further, so that he may come back home, back to Godhead, because that is his subconscious desire, and Krishna fulfills all desires. So he gives Buddhi Yogam to return back home. Although the queen had no son, after eating that food, which had the power to produce a male child, she became pregnant by her husband, and in due course of time, she gave birth to a son. The boy was born partially in the dynasty of religion. His grandfather, his Nana, was death personified, and the boy grew up as his follower. He became a greatly irreligious person. So it's mentioned here that the child's mother, Sunita, was the daughter of death personified. Generally, the daughter receives the qualifications of her father. So the father and daughter tend to be very similar in mentality. And the son acquired those of the mother. So in other words, the grandson acquired the mentality of his grandfather, his maternal grandfather. So according to the axiomatic truth that things equal to the same thing are equal to one another, the child born of King Anga becomes a follower of his maternal grandfather, because his mother is same as her father, and he is same as his mother. So that's the mentality is same. According to Smriti Shastra, a child generally follows the principles of his maternal uncle's house. Naranam Matula Karam means that a child generally follows the qualities of his maternal family. If the maternal family is very corrupt or sinful, the child, even though born of a good father, becomes a victim of the maternal family. According to Vedic civilization, therefore, before the marriage takes place, an account is taken of both the boys and girls' families, at least in India. If according to astrological calculation, the combination is perfect, then marriage takes place. Sometimes, however, there is a mistake and family life becomes frustrating. So, according to this, these love marriages and things don't always work out, maybe for that reason, or they give birth to sinful progeny sometimes if there's no agreement, if there's a problem in either one of the couple. It appears that the king did not get a very good wife in Sunita because she was the daughter of death personified. Sometimes the Lord arranges an unfortunate wife for his devotee so that gradually, due to family circumstances, the devotee becomes detached from his wife and home and makes progress in devotional life. So, it's not all doom and gloom. Whatever happens for a good reason. That's the bottom line. It appears that by the arrangement of the Supreme Personality Godhead, King Anga, although a pious devotee, got an unfortunate wife like Sunita, and later on a bad child like Vaina, which we will go on to next time. But the result was that he got complete freedom from the entanglement of family life and left home to go back to Godhead. So there's always good in everything. We just have to find it. After fixing his bow and arrow, the cruel, but now we're talking about King Vaina. This father, King Anga, has left home, and the child has grown up, but he's causing so much mischief that his father just could not take anymore, and he just left home. After fixing his bow and arrow, and you can imagine how bad he must be that the king leaves his kingdom unprotected because he's so upset. He's had enough and he just leaves everything. The cruel boy used to go to the forest and unnecessarily kill innocent deer. And as soon as he came, all the people would cry, "Here comes cruel Vaina. Here comes cruel Vaina." The boy was so cruel that while playing with young boys of his age, he would kill them very mercilessly. He would kill his own friends as if they were animals meant for slaughter. After seeing the cruel and merciless behavior of his son, Vaina, King Anga punished him in different ways to reform him, but unable to bring him to the path of gentleness. He thus became greatly aggrieved. The king thought to himself, persons who have no son are certainly fortunate. You see, so it's all relative. He's thinking it's better to have a son like this, better to have no son. They must have worshipped the Lord in their previous lives, so they would not have to suffer the unbearable unhappiness caused by a bad son. So just because there's a son doesn't mean it's all great. It can go wrong as well, can backfire. It is said that a married couple must have a son, otherwise the family is void. But a son born without good quality is as good as a blind eye. A blind eye has no use for seeing, but it is simply unbearably painful to see if you can see with one eye, you can see that you have the other eye is blind, so it's just very painful every time you see yourself in the mirror, because otherwise it has no purpose at all. But it's simply unbearable pain. The king therefore thought himself very unfortunate to have such a bad son. A sinful son causes a person's reputation to vanish. His religious activities at home cause religion and quarrel among everyone, and this creates only endless anxiety. Who, if he is considerate and intelligent, would desire such a worthless son? Such a son is nothing but a bond of illusion for the living entity, and he makes one's home miserable. Then the king thought, a bad son is better than a good son because a good son creates an attachment for home, whereas a bad son doesn't. A bad son creates a hellish home from which an intelligent man naturally becomes very easily detached. King Anga, therefore, thinking in terms of detachment, accepted his bad son as a good impetus for detachment from home life. He therefore considered his bad son his friend, since he was helping him become detached from his home. Ultimately, one has to learn how to detach oneself from attachment to material life. Therefore, if a bad son, by his bad behavior, helps a householder to go away from home, it is a boon. Thinking like that, King Ang could not sleep at night. He became completely indifferent to household life. Once, therefore, in the dead of night, he got up from bed and left Vaina's mother, his wife, who was sleeping deeply. He gave up all attraction for his greatly opulent kingdom, and unseen by anyone, he was very silently gave up his home and opulence and proceeded towards the forest. When it was understood that the king had indifferently left home, all the citizens, priests, ministers, friends, people in general were greatly aggrieved. They began to search for him all over the world, just as a less experienced mystic searches out the super soul within himself. When the citizens could not find any trace of the king, and after searching for him everywhere, they were very disappointed. And they returned to the city where all the great sages of the country assembled because of the king's absence. With tears in their eyes, the citizens offered respectful obeisances and informed the sages in full detail that they were unable to find the king anywhere. So, in some way, it's a sad situation. In other ways, for King Ang, it's good as well. So it just shows that it's all about point of view. You can see the same situation as very unfortunate, and at the same time, you can see the situation as fortunate as well. It depends on what you want. What you want, and you think, yes, this is in line with what I want, although it looks very bad and unbearable, but this is exactly what's going to help me. So this is the king thought, my bad son is actually my best friend because he's helping me to detach from this material life. Because no one, unless you are like Maharaj Bharat, and this is why we remember Maharaj Bharat so much, that you would not have the strength to leave so opulence and family. We just don't have the heart for that. So in a way, his son helped him. So I'd love to hear your views on this. I think it's very interesting. It can be, some people might find it very controversial as well. So, I do apologize if it seems like that. I'm just reading what is there. And this is Srimad Bhagavatam. We have to understand it as it is. Thanks so much. And thank you, my Father Doji, Hina Mataji, Rukmani Mataji, Partha Prabhu, and Parveen Mataji. Thank you for joining this morning. Please share your views. Hina Mataji, first of all. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much. Danvat Pranam, everyone. Very interesting and, as you said, controversial topic that we're starting to read here. I think for me, I guess what I was feeling as you were reading this is almost like maybe, and I think generally people in general always pray for what they think is what materialistic things that they feel that they need. They pray to Krishna, they pray to the demigods for certain material benedictions, and actually we don't really know what we need almost. And I think we sometimes just need to trust in the Lord, trust Krishna, that he will give us what we need. And if things don't turn out right, that's it's not meant to be, that's his will. And I think, and I was just thinking about this, I think a lot of our time, and I'm speaking personally, we sometimes desire certain things that we feel we need, and we think we're in a better position than Krishna to tell him what we feel we need. And it's almost like, no, we don't know what we need in many cases. We really just need to trust him, and turn everything over to him, and let him dictate, and let him show us what is best for us, and accept whatever he sends our way. So that was just something that I was thinking of as you were reading. So maybe we need to, surrender more to his will rather than desire and impose our own will on him and ask for things, and wish for things to turn out in certain ways. And it's almost trust him completely. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Yes, wonderful. Thank you for sharing, Madhuri. I think we find, at least I find at many times, that because we have a heart and we have a head, sometimes the head knows what's right for us, but the heart wants something else. And there's always this conflict going on. The heart desires this, but the head says, I don't think that's right for you. But because the heart desires something else, it doesn't excite you. So you have like two options. Head says it should be this one. That doesn't excite you because your heart wants something else, but that might not be right for you. So there's all this conflict going on in your mind, that, oh, no, actually I want this, but I know it's not right for me, but what should I do? What should I do? So this conflict going on. So you mentioned Krishna. Yes, absolutely right. Krishna knows what's right for us. When we can't make up our mind, he will make up our mind for us. That, listen, you can't do this. Especially if you're a devotee, he'll help you. Look, this is what you actually need. This is more beneficial for you. So he will make that decision for you. Because we always also think about profit and loss. Okay, this is good for me, but I'm going to lose out here. Or, if he works out this way, it's going to cost me dishonor. I'm ashamed. I shouldn't be doing this. I should be doing this. But although it's better for us to do that, although it might make us look not so great, but so Krishna sometimes arranges the right thing for us. Actually, he always arranges the right thing for us. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Rukmini Mataji, Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Nice to have your association with it.
Yeah, very good class, and so much to learn. And that is it all depends upon our bringing up the children. And before, in very olden days, father just went to forest and to do some spiritual progress. But nowadays it is not like that. We can't go to forest. But all these sanghas, like you are running, and from the child, if parents start from the childhood to educate them the religion and Krishna conscious, so that is very helpful. I have seen in the Hare Krishna temple and everywhere, the children are also attending all the programs. So that is affecting to their life. So that is the best thing to join them to Krishna consciousness or any religious places. So that is the best way to bring up the children. Otherwise, in this Kali Yuga, they can just roaming anywhere and they get bad habited. So I respect so much to Krishna conscious, Hare Krishna, and all this Prabhupada's system. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Although this pastime is the extreme example, obviously, our children are nice children, but sometimes they can get wrong association as well. So we, as parents, have to spend time on them, and we have to, first of all, we have to recognize what their interest is. And I've seen in our movement as well, it's very nice how the families, the parents, they recognize the interest of the child, and they will direct them accordingly. So if they think our child likes music, he would be happy to play instrument. They try and arrange for them to learn some instrument, so they stay interested in the movement, and so they also associate with other similar-minded people in the movement, and they work together, because relationship and association is very important. If a child is going to remain in the ISKCON movement, then he has to have friends in there who can, meet and talk with and associate with in and out of the temple. So that's very, very important. You must have some kind of, connections there. Same with the child you think he's not really interested in music, he likes philosophy, then you arrange classes for them, sanghas for them, children's sangha, whatever's going on. So you can do it like that as well. But they must make similar-minded friends, have their association. So yeah, very, very important. So they don't associate outside the movement with the wrong society. So yeah, thank you so much, Mataji, for that. Praveen Mataji, Haribol.
Haribol, Prabhuji, Haribol. Danvat Pranam to everyone. Yes, very interesting pastime. But then the emphasis is on our karmas as well. So like it says, because of the bad karma, so they didn't get a son. But then I also believe that it's not relevant anymore, because if you're a devotee, Krishna will deliver you. So that is my belief, that you don't need a son to deliver anymore. So I don't know whether I'm right. I'm sure I've heard somewhere that you don't have to worry about it. So and there was another point, and I firmly believe that whatever happens for the best, because at the time we don't realize, but then this is a very good example. So he saw it's a cause of detachment, and I think I shouldn't be saying, I'm not in a position to say, but then Srila Prabhupada ji, because he was not happy because he thought his wife is not attractive, and his dad said to him, yeah, this is good, so you will not get attached to her. I think I've heard that as well. So because at the time we think, oh, this is not right, and we, like Mother Hina Mataji said as well, we want some desire things, and then but Krishna gives us what is right for us. So if we remember this, then it brings positivity as well in life. So we just need to surrender to Krishna. And I always used to say, like, if I'm going for a job interview, and if it is the right one, Krishna, then I should get it. You know what is right, because we think, oh yeah, I want this job. So I do the same for my children as well. So I tell them, yeah, you work hard and just leave it to God. If it is the right one, it will happen, or otherwise, no. So I think it gives you more positivity, really. You're not like upset if you don't get it. So yeah. Hare Krishna, Babaji.
Hare Krishna. Yes, absolutely. You rely on the Lord's will.
Yeah.
We always do the right thing by you. Yes, definitely makes sense. Thank you so much, Madhuri. And you want to say something?
Yeah, Hare Krishna, everyone. So Bhagavatam has given us all sorts of pastimes, and each pastimes brings a very profound realization. At the outset, when we start to hear the pastime, it sounds very bizarre to us that how can Krishna puts a pastime like this in Bhagavatam for us? But when we hear the realization at the end of the pastime, how it's concluded, how it's explained to us, then like they say here in UK, in our day-to-day language, that the penny drops. Then we have that eureka moment. Oh, so this is what Krishna wanted to convey to us through this pastime, through this Leela. At the outset, it felt very bizarre. Far as people are worried that a daughter or a son is going to give them the is necessary to have as a progeny in life. It's stated in Shastras that Pu is a kind of hell, And Tra means to the one who delivers you. Tra or Tri, daughter or son, both can do. So actually they say that nobody should worry about this, that only a son is going to deliver them. So after you have left this world, a daughter or a son either can do the rituals for you. And if you haven't got even a daughter or a son, and if even your relatives, your brothers, sisters, or anyone for that matter, so they say that I read a very interesting thing during the Damodar, and when we have those the Shraddha times, it was stated that even if you are doing this, for example, Shraddha for your own family members, the departed ancestors, it's nice to do some extra for any anonymous, any person in the world who hasn't got anyone. So you just do a sankalp, you do something in your head, you take a vow that, okay, I'm doing this little bit for somebody who can also benefit from from this Shraddha ritual I'm doing for my ancestors. I'll do a little bit extra for them, the anonymous people. So end of the day, we all are related, but we are so narrow in our thinking, sometimes because of our emotions and our head and heart, that we only think that, okay, this is my family, I'm only doing this for this. But end of the day, we have to realize that we are all children of Krishna. He is the source. We are all coming from Krishna, and so actually we are all souls are related to each other. So we have got not just duty for our family, our the family which we are born into. We have got a big duty for all the souls. So that's why Srila Prabhupada says and explains, reminds us again and again, that Krishna gets happy when his name is preached, when his message is delivered. So it's very important for us to understand the message, and also understand the the source. Actually, we have to stick to our parampara. If we start hearing everyone on the YouTube or internet, then you'll get confused, because there are different messages out there. Some pastime can be told by some other speaker from a different he could be from a sampradaya, he could not be from any sampradaya, just became a speaker for the sake of it. So you have to be very careful to understand the pastime, to understand the realization behind it, and then only we are going to get closer to Krishna. And also, I've always heard from the devotees, they say, when any problem comes to them, they say, oh, because I'm doing bhakti of Krishna, so Krishna saved me. Otherwise, the problem was going to come 100 times more for me. But because I'm doing bhakti of Krishna, because I'm serving Krishna, because I'm chanting and doing doing at least one process in the 9 processes of the bhakti, whether it's Shravan Kirtanam or Smaranam or Padasevanam or Archanam. So that is also very profound thing, which I found very nice in our movement, in our Krishna conscious. And generally, the bhaktas anywhere, any kind of bhaktas outside, or any devotees who are doing devotion for Bhagwan, they always say that God spared me. The problem was going to come so big, but I was spared. So, and also we have got to have a trust in Krishna's plan. However our lives are unfolding in front of us, okay, the past karmas are going to give us reactions, but Krishna always says that in 18.66 verse, that Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarv papebhyo mokshayami ma shucha. So he has given the crux of the whole Bhagavad-Gita in that shlok, that I'm going to deliver you as long, and I'm going to forgive all your sins. But the only thing is, we have to do some service for him all the time. So to become an A-grade student, you have got to work hard in school life, in university life, in all sorts of arenas in life. Similarly, to go back to Godhead, that is the highest prize for all of us. We have to be serving Krishna in the best of our abilities, in the best of however we are, and not to forget the 4 things that Prabhupada wanted us to follow. Look after our health. Second number is japa. Third number is, I think it is reading, service, and the last comes reading. So if we follow that in that order that Prabhupada told his initial, disciples, that if you remember Krishna in this order, then your life will be perfect. So thank you for your association, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. A very good point. So we can see Krishna's arrangement, what he does, best for us. But very important that we have faith as well. We have faith in Krishna that he will do the best for us, because that's something we do forget sometimes, that when we start questioning Krishna's will, why this happened. So faith. So Krishna actually tests our faith as well. There's a lot of tests, small tests for small devotees like me. But he tests our faith that we claim to be a devotee, but are we, do we actually have faith in Krishna? So because however you see something, that's how it will be. If you see that Krishna arranged something small, although I was going to get something really a big danger, he made it small, then that's how it will be. Whatever how you see it, that's how it will be. If you see Krishna as a stone, then he'll be stone for you. If you see Krishna making a small arrangement of a big danger, then it will be a small arrangement of a big danger. It's very important how we think and how we trust Krishna. So thank you all so much. We're going to do a couple of rounds now. Rukmani Mataji, maybe you could do the first round, and Praveen Mataji, second round. Let's do 2 nice rounds, and then we can finish. Hare Krishna.
Jai Shri